Hi, this is cjGros with Case Study Review for AEP 855 Module 9, Ethics versus Policy. Just a quick review of what's happening with this case. We have a first-year assistant principal. He works at an urban school, or I'm assuming it to be urban, 900 students. There's a group of students that are bused in every day from the south side, and Richard is originally from the south side. He's maintained a rapport with these students and actually seen some results in one particular student named James. Now, this occurs in the afternoon, the spring semester of Richard's first year as the assistant principal. So he's had 3/4 of a year with this group of students, and he's 3/4 of the year into his first year as an assistant principal. This particular day, James is tardy for 3 classes. Richard calls him into the office and receives a phone call from the teacher saying when James left to go to the office, he passed something off to another student, David. So Richard calls David into the office to the school officer, escorts him so he can make sure that he doesn't have an opportunity to offload whatever it is that he's being given. And he brings all 3 of those people into his office to question them. David becomes upset. The school officer then searches David and finds a pair of brass knuckles. Brass knuckles are prohibited. They are a weapon, and so it is a felony offense. The officer puts the handcuffs on David. James stands up for David and says, "Those are mine. I forced him to do it. It's all my fault." Richard is very excited or proud at this moment because it just shows a great amount of growth for James, which again, as a student, he's invested a lot of time in. Now, Richard barely knows David, but he does know that David is a model student, and so he was assuming that the officer would take the handcuffs off of David and take James instead. Both boys were sent to the detention center. And so then when it came time for Richard to create the report, he couldn't bring himself to write the report for David because he felt like he was forced into the situation by James. James had admitted that he had forced him into the situation, yet he still was taken to the detention center, and Richard could not bring himself to complete that paperwork. When he had a week had passed, the director of secondary education contacted him and said, "You need to complete this paperwork or else you will receive a formal reprimand in your file." So who's involved here? Richard, who's feeling responsible, and he's discouraged by the system because there's nothing there to protect David, who has kind of fallen victim into this cycle of behaviors that occurs from the South Side kids, and he feels that, him being sent to the detention center is just falling into this trap. The administration has a stake in here because the officer is obligated to follow the law, and neither the administration or the officer can be perceived as showing prejudice against the South Side kids. So they need to uphold the law and treat everyone the same. Both boys are emotionally involved in this. Obviously, they're both sitting in the detention center, or they were both sent to the detention center. Now, David, this is his first experience. He's going to be afraid and scared, and his parents were very concerned. They went and got him out immediately. The James's parents were kind of like, well, this is what happens. He needs to learn his lesson. Said let him sit there for a few days. But I would imagine that James has worked a lot, trying to improve his behaviors. The case had said that Richard had actually had some success reaching him, and he'd had an improvement. So James has to be feeling very disappointed in himself right now too. So the parents, not only the parents of the boys, but also the parents of the children in the school, just a general constituency, the population of the school, is going to be concerned with this case. They're going to be watching and seeing what happens because, whether or not David gets charged, he could be shown favoritism. It should be showing that they're showing prejudice, and they're going to be concerned with the outcome as well. So there are a couple of legal issues. The most obvious here is the felony possession of a weapon or on school property. That, Richard is also looking more at the fact that uh, James was intimidating David, and that is why he had the weapon in the first place. So Richard's actions appear to be ethical, but they're not legal because, he's sticking up for him. So the ethical fairness says that both boys were involved and therefore both should be charged. That seems that's what's fair. But is it ethical to not charge David? Or is it fair to charge David when for the choice of someone else? David didn't have a choice in this situation. And not only is James 2 years older than David, but he's considered to be a leader. He's from the tough side of town. He's a leader amongst those kids. He has a record. He told him, hey, I'm gonna, you need to take care of these for me, and, forced him to do so. So is it ethical to charge David for the choices of James when David had no choice? He also didn't have the opportunity to report it to anybody because it all happened so quickly. One thing, he knows he's getting past something, and then he's sitting in the hot seat in the principal or the assistant principal's office. So a sentence that sort of summarizes what's happening here. Richard, the assistant principal of Rocket Junior High, is faced with the decision to uphold policy and damage the future of a model student, or challenge policy and possibly damage his own professional record. So let's look a little deeper into the facts. Here are the things that we know. We know the ages and sort of like the behavior history, the academic history of James and David. We know that Richard is the assistant principal, and we don't really know much about the families of the two boys. We don't know what grades they're in. We know one's 13 and one is 15. We know that one's heavily tattooed and he's from the rough side of town. We don't necessarily know what sort of families they come from, how much support they have, what's their socioeconomical status. We don't know any political affiliations. I don't know if that would be relevant. But some of the relevant things include, just sort of those histories of those kids. We don't know about their race or, anything like that. We also don't know anything about the principal. I mean, Richard is the assistant principal. What does the principal have to say about this? And did Richard consult the principal, his supervisor, at any point in time through all of this? I'm also wondering about policies. Are there any policies that might help David, such as a bully policy, or, were the procedures followed in the questioning appropriately? And we don't know about political pressures. Does the administration receive pressure from the parents of the South Side? Do they feel that they're discriminated against? Do the other parents, I mean, what's the rest of the demographics of the school? Is it primarily affluent and maybe there is some sort of unease because they don't like the kids being bussed in from the South Side? We don't know any of that. We don't know any of the dynamics or the pressures surrounding those people. Within these different groups that are concerned, what's at stake? Maybe what are some of the things that they're concerned about? Parent trust. If David is treated differently, it could be seen as unfair. And if he's expelled, it could be seen as unjust. So either decision could be damaging to the parent trust or the rapport that Richard might have with the parents of the school. Not just James and David's parents, but all of the parents. Professional reputation, Richard will be written up if he doesn't comply. He might lose the respect of his principal, and it might, cause him to have some stumbling blocks along the way when he's, wanting to professionally advance. So what more could be learned? What could help us make a decision in this case? What is the principal's position? Would he have done the same thing? Richard could talk to the principal and say, this is the situation, what would you have done? Learn about that. Learn about policies. Did he follow the policies with the questioning and the search? Was that all done on the up and up? Or maybe was something done there that wasn't necessarily in line with the policies and procedures? And are there other policies that might exist that would help remedy the situation? So there are three options here. 1, complete the paperwork. 2, do not complete the paperwork. Or 3, stand up against policy. If Richard completes the paperwork, he'll be in good graces with the administration. His record is safe. His supervisor, the principal, is not under scrutiny from the admin, and the admin is happy. We know that he'll be written up, but we don't know how serious that is. I mean, is he going to be allowed to come back next year? Is the principal going to trust him with other things? So, there's more than just a reprimand in the record. It deals with integrity and trust. If the principal supports him, then he might win some integrity points. So a con is David's reputation will be ruined. So Richard will save his own reputation at the possibility of ruining David's. Then he'll lose trust with the parents. If he doesn't complete the paperwork, his record is safe. That is, and they don't explain this, could someone higher than Richard complete the paperwork? Would there be would this still happen? Would it even actually remedy the situation if Richard didn't complete the paperwork? And, could the principal just go and complete the paperwork instead and, go above him, and it all happens anyways, and David's record is not actually safe. So we don't actually know that is going to be the result. If Richard doesn't complete the paperwork, someone else might do it for him, and the charges might still be filed. So a con is the formal reprimand is in the first year. So it doesn't really help him because we're not really sure that it's actually going to help David, and it's going to get him in trouble with his boss. So it seems like the valiant thing to do, the ethical thing to do, but it may not actually help the situation. So the third option is to dig deeper into the policy, find a creative solution by evaluating the policy. And a pro is that Richard learns more about his job. He becomes more familiar with the policy. He gains points in integrity for sticking up for this, sticking up against the policy, and sticking up for a student that's kind of being bullied by this other kid. I mean, he felt forced or coerced. So a con is it doesn't really reprimand that or guarantee that a reprimand won't be taken. He could still get in trouble, and it takes a lot of courage. So my choice would be the third option. I say, learn from my mistakes. What could I do differently next time? So learn about what sort of policies might exist. The more I know about the policies, the more I'm apt to, be able to counter this in the future with appropriate results. And my greatest takeaway is that the policy is written in black and white, but sometimes circumstances surrounding policies really land in the gray area. So if you're in a position of implementing policies, it is important to understand the implications of that policies before you go implementing it, because you need to know where you might get tripped up. So in retrospect, Richard should have questioned the boys separately. Maybe the whole situation would be different if he would have encountered that. But that's my choice, is option 3.